We often hear of people proclaiming their love for others. Perhaps they will be perplexed if told that they should begin with themselves. But don't we all love ourselves choicelessly? We always want what we truly love to grow and glow. If I love myself truly, then I must take care to bring about a total integration within myself, which implies and alert and subtle intellect. Swami Tejomayananda ji, through his discourses to the youth, urges us all to love thyself and thereby love all others to fulfillment of self-love. A booklet, Love Thyself, written by Param Poojya Guruji, Swami Tejomayananda ji. Reading thereof. Love thy neighbor is a commonly used biblical phrase. Also often used are the phrases love all beings and know thyself. But the chances are that you have not heard the expression love thyself. The advice to love thyself may sound strange, and you wonder if you are being asked to be selfish. You understand that it is important to love yourself, but why love thyself? We feel we love others, and we also feel that we love ourselves. Is this true? If there was really so much love around, the world would be a different place from what it is now. The truth is that we are unable to love others because we do not love ourselves. Love is a peculiar phenomenon. We know the word very well, having heard, read about it, but we hardly know what it means. Let us try to understand what we mean by the term love and loving ourselves. By reading extensively, one may become scholarly or well informed, but only one who understands the and a half letter word prema, 2.5 letter prema, letter word prema, qualifies to be called a wise person. Only a few rare individuals truly understand the very essence of love. Clearly, love is very precious, but unfortunately not well understood. Love is of various kinds: parental and filial love, the brother sister love, the famous love of the movies, of the love or the love of youth, of which there is plenty around. Today it is love at first sight and divorce at second look. There is an abundance of love marriages, but why are there so many divorces? Evidently, something seems to be missing. So let us try to understand through some examples the essence of love. What happens in your heart when you really love something or someone? Begin with the material. The room has many objects that you use: a chair, a desk, a pen, etc. Now think about how you would use them if you really liked and loved them. Your first concern or worry would be regarding their safety, neatness, and security. You would not throw them around. You would take care of them. We want them to be neat and tidy, even though there is no reciprocation or feelings from them. This is our attitude, even towards inanimate objects. Now examine the attitude of a person with a love for gardening. The slightest growth in the plants of the garden brings so much joy and pleasure to the gardener. He tends the plants, loving and guarding them from excessive sunlight, air, and water. He takes care that the plant does not get eaten by a stray animal. Through gardening, he experiences a great love, a feeling of tenderness which he can share with others. At a higher level, we examine our relationship with our pets, cats, dogs, birds, and parrots. Men really love their dogs because it is said that for every dog, his master is a Napoleon. People have so much of love and concern for their pets in dealings with animals as opposed to dealings with their fellow beings. People are not so judgmental. Similarly, we find joy and contentment when we have love a human being. We find the same happiness in the welfare of those we love as we do in our own. Sometimes even more. In that love, there is care and tenderness. Our happiness is intimately connected with the welfare of the beloved ones. In their unhappiness, we find ourselves miserable. We do not criticize or air their faults to the world. On the contrary, we try to make them look good. Put simply, this really is what the relationship of love is all about. Consider this seriously. Do I really love and take care of myself? Start again from the physical level and you feel yes, of course, I love myself. I need an hour in front of the dressing table, an hour in the shower, and additionally, all kinds of exotic facials and body massages. There are all these are all only means of beautifying the external appearance. If we really loved ourselves, then our first duty would be towards our health of the body. Are we taking care of our health? Do we follow a wise way of living? Look around and you will find that many people lead lives that are quite indisciplined. We do not look after ourselves properly. We only look after our appearance, forgetting that appearances are, as the very word suggests, deceptive, illusory, and most strikingly impermanent. Makeup can be touched up or reapplied in no time, but good health is quite different. The truth of the expression health is wealth is indisputable. Despite this, we do not adhere to the principles that we keep our bodies healthy and in good condition. Then, how can we say we love ourselves? If I love myself, then I would pay attention not only to my physical body but also make sure that I grew beautifully at the mental level. Presently, people give too much importance to the body, unduly pampering it. At the intellectual level, they are busy gathering, they're busy gathering information and adding degrees to their names. They may have a superb IQ but have little patience. One such brilliant person asked another whom he considered less intelligent, "What makes you so foolish?" The other man replied, "I don't know, but whatever it is, it works well." The answer shows that the other person was not at all dull-witted. Between the body and the intellect, we have the mind. Are we taking care of it? Are we emotionally stable and mature? Emotional stability and maturity are interlinked. We cannot have one without the other. Intelligence is measured as IQ, intelligence quotient, and emotional stability as EQ, emotional quotient. The negativity in people surfaces in different ways. At election time, every party and every contestant and lose talk. In the parliament, we know what happens. Members resort to horse trading and even throwing of chairs and rotten tomatoes. This is the behavior of the representatives of the country, the upholders of our constitution, and they are supposed to be responsible for the law and order of the country. Notwithstanding this, they are busy creating a lot of commotion. In America, they say that when they joke in the Senate, it becomes a law, and when they make a law, it becomes a joke. It is the same in everywhere. We find that rich, educated, well placed, and powerful people, when even sannyasis can stoop to low levels. Why does this happen? This happens because the mind is uncontrolled and unchecked. People get hurt and angry over insignificant things and in the process display different levels of anger, sometimes even resorting to throwing, breaking, and destroying whatever comes to hand. College and university students often break and burn buildings and destroy buses. Is this a sign of maturity, whether in personal life or in a public place? People who exhibit lack of self control by throwing tantrums, etc., show up in a poor light. Can we really say that such a person loves himself or herself? When we live only by our impulses and instincts without discrimination and understanding, can we say we love ourselves? If I love myself, then along with my physical health, I take care of my mind. Everybody has a mind, but we find of most minds lack balance and maturity. Little matters upset us, throwing us out of gear. Take the case of the gentleman who found too much salt in his food at breakfast. In a fit of anger, he threw down his plate and stormed out, leaving behind a sad, unhappy wife. At office, The same pattern was repeated. He threw the files around and incurred the wrath of his boss. When he returned home, can you imagine what his condition would have been? Another man also found himself in a similar situation. One morning at breakfast, with excessive salt in his food, he added some curds and diluted the taste and quietly ate his food. Smilingly, he asked his wife whether her father had started a salt factory and left for work. She did not understand his reference to the salt factory until she sat down to it. What do you think she would have felt for her husband? She would have truly appreciated his consideration for her feelings. On his return from work, he would, in all probability, be treated to tasty snacks after she had checked out the taste, of course, and the home would remain peaceful. Undoubtedly, the latter is the better way to live. So, we find that loving ourselves means taking care of our mind as well. Reflect the divinity within us. After the mental plane is the intellectual plane. The intellect is not meant just for memorizing facts, figures, and statistics, but also to gainfully use the knowledge. We are very good at learning by rote to reproduce sessions. We study and get the required degrees, but after that, what happens? As a student, before I learnt Vedanta, I also studied like that. I am reminded here of a technical term used in Sanskrit and more particularly in Vedanta, Upadhi. Upadhi means a conditioning, an object remaining near a second object reflects the color of the second without any intrinsic change in itself. For example, if you place a clear crystal near a blue cloth, the crystal takes on the color of the cloth and appears blue. In this case, the blue cloth is the upadhi for the crystal. The crystal appears to be blue, but is not really so. Do you know that university degrees too are called upadhis? Example, Vishwavidyalaya ki upadhi. So after my whole name, I add on my upadhis, BSc, MSc, PhD. Note the word that I am a very learned person. The upadhis remain there without bringing any real change in me. Man collects all these degrees but does not really change. In modern time, with the advent of the internet, there is a lot of information and technology but no transformation. Intrinsically, there is no change. So, what is the use of all this information? It, if after all this education and study, we still do the same things that the illiterate or uncultured person does, then what is the use of it all? If I love myself, then I must take care to bring about a total integration within myself, which implies taking care of the body's health, of the mind's beauty, and the intellect's subtlety. Only if I do all this can I say that I love myself. I may have lofty thoughts and great ideas, but if my mind is attached to something different, I cannot achieve anything but frustration. A young man was lying on the railway track, wanting to die. Someone noticed him lying on the track. What he was doing on the railway track and wondered why he had a bag next to him. The young man told him that he was waiting to die and that the bag contained his lunch packet. Since trains were running late, he would at least not go hungry. Do you think such a man is really going to be able to give up his life? The moment he hears the train coming, he would get up and run. His condition is to be pitied. Neither is he able to live in this world with any degree of satisfaction, nor does he have takes to die, what it takes to die. What would be the use of such a life? The present day advances in science and technology have given increased speed and power to the motor car. The newer vehicles on the road have tremendous power and speed, giving a sense of joy and fun to the occupants. Now, suppose there were no brakes in the vehicle. There is joy in driving the car fast only when your brakes are working well. Secondly, there is a sense of joy when you have control and power over the speed. The third essential factor is the steering wheel, with which you give direction to the car. Suppose you had a vehicle with an accelerator but no brakes, high power but no control, and nothing to give it direction. Would you enjoy it? Certainly not. The joy of driving a vehicle is only when you have tremendous control over it. We have this physical body, which is our vehicle. We have a mind with a speed much faster than a rocket or space shuttle. The power and speed of our mind is unimaginable. Even the atom bomb cannot compete with it. Because remember, it was after all a human brain that conceived and manufactured the bomb. Despite all this intellectual sharpness, we still find the mind being directed to destructive purposes because it is not under our control. But this power must be backed with control and direction. What direction are we giving to our lives? Changes are constantly taking place in the world. Are we consciously bringing about each and every change? Do we exercise kind of power over ourselves, and are we slaves to our sense organs, mind, and instincts? If we are not conscious of all that we do, then truly we do not love ourselves. We are destroying ourselves and our people as well very efficiently. Take the example of reckless drivers. They are well aware that they can and do cause accidents that may be instrumental in others losing their lives. The corollary to loving ourselves is that we love others as well. Having understood this much, each one must discover his or her aptitude and capability. It is no good merely imitating another potential and capabilities. This not only helps us to enjoy life and elevate ourselves, but in the process also helps in uplifting others. Potential, an inspiring goal, inspiring inspiration that comes from within, and dedication to the inspired goal combine to manifest our hidden abilities and potential. If you study the lives of great political leaders, you will find that ordinary lives were transformed by inspired goals. Take the case of Mahatma Gandhi. He went to London to study law and later to South Africa as a barrister. There he discovered the goal of freedom for the nation. He worked hard for his goal and came back to India a vastly transformed man. Read ancient Indian history and look on the life of Valmiki. He was a wicked man given to plundering and even murdering people. Yet, when he discovered a greater purpose in his life, he became a great sage. Now, take the example of sports persons. They are inspired by hopes of winning the gold medal. In the Kargil war against Pakistan, the Indian army was inspired by the thought of winning the battle of Falling. This devotion to the Lord or country, maybe even art or culture, is what transforms a person. That is why it is said, find a purpose and the means will follow. Potential by yourself. Being dependent on others is not of much use. We talk so much about being independent from a young age, but even after studying and acquiring many degrees, many of us are not sure that we will be able to gain employment. You may not get employment, but have you ever thought of creating employment? You can not only create employment for yourself, but give employment to others as well. Why can we not think in this way? Why do we spend our time crying and weeping that others are not giving us opportunities? Why can't we make our own? If I love myself, I will not be a victim of circumstances but will create situations to find so that I achieve what I want to achieve. People can be categorized under three heads. One type of people create history, they make things happen. The second type of people read, study, and discuss the events that have happened. And the third rate people only discuss about people. In other words, spend time gossiping. There is a fourth category also, those who can only talk about themselves, the bores. George Bernard Shaw once met a man who talked at length about everything under the sun. In exasperation, Shaw said to him, Sir, in this world, whatever is to be known is known between you and me. You know everything except one thing, which I know, that you are a bore. As a people, Indians love to talk, criticizing and blaming others. The easiest thing to do is to blame the politicians for all our ills and do nothing ourselves to set things right. But do we not have to shoulder some of the blame for the state of the country. When it is time to vote, we stay at home instead of going to the polling booth. Booths? Why? We feel that politics is dirty and all parties are the same. So why vote? We are very good people, good for nothing. We say that we are disillusioned with this country, but why don't we do something about it? If we love ourselves and we love the world too, then the love we feel should manifest. Harnessing youth potential through dynamic spirituality is the motto Puja Gurudev gave the Chinmay Mission Kendra, Chinmay Yuva Kendra. Bring out your potential by discovering an inspiring goal. The goal should include your well-being, the well-being of the family. To gain this vision and understand the reason for their restlessness, the youth must study something about themselves. There is no point in doing something for the sake of doing something. One must study, understand, and then act to bring that vision into action. Some simple programs can be undertaken where we learn to sit together, plan, execute, and rise above our likes and dislikes. Sometimes people agree in principle about a program but differ greatly on other aspects, like even quarreling over the manner of its implementation. Clearly, this is not the way to proceed. We decide on a project, think how best to achieve the goal and grow with it. To sum up, first comes the vision, then planning, and then action. After the action, there is a review of the action, taking stock of the mistakes committed, and then take corrective measures. This is the process of growth. Thousands of young people have platform where youth can learn this art and grow. If we love ourselves, we will